Yeah. Look out your window. Knicks fans is on your block. Y'all know the Knicks run the city. Pull them shades back. Look out your window. Look down there on the block. That's Knicks fans right there. It's about that time. It's about that time of the week where you get ready for your work week with the man that is so smooth. He does not require a chaser. Your main man, the real, still the real Anthony D. And your main man, Jersey's finest, the hood representative, Uncle Freezy.
Boom, 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 dun, 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 yeah, that's my shit for real.
The smoothest
intro
in the game.
Fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good morning, Uncle
Freezy. It only took us a year and a half to find it, bro. But when we found it,
sometimes greatness takes time.
Yeah, man.
You know, like the Knicks, greatness takes time. Time after time. Embiid, how you feeling this morning? Big guy? Yeah. I bet you he's not playing tomorrow. He is not playing tomorrow. When he did that dunk, mind you, the man ain't dunked since the injury.
Yeah.
When he did that, threw it to himself off the backboard, and I think that was Mitch that he caught with it.
Yeah.
Yaga. Yeah. It came down. The entire place was watching the game went, oh!
That'll do it.
Whoops, there goes another rubber tree. Whoops, there goes. Out of here. Good win. You know, good win. Yeah. Great win. I don't care how we get a dub. Great win. One game, you know, was it the prettiest? No, we're not a pretty team.
Yeah.
We're not a pretty team. We're not Golden State of 2017. You know, that's not us. We're blue collar, rough and rugged.
Right.
You know, and it was a great win. Absolutely. You know, a couple of turnovers here and there. Of course, you know, it's the playoffs. Teams are expected to put their best efforts in. You're not going to blow teams out like that.
Nah.
You know, you may catch them, you know, here and there, but for the most part, you know, they're going to put their best work in.
Right.
And the Knicks, Deuce, his real coming out party yesterday. Deuce might have really saved the game. With his contributions, he might have really saved the game.
May have saved the season. If we down 1-0 to Philly, they already got home court advantage.
Yeah, but they got home court with a dude that's day to day at best.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that because you mentioned like 4 things I was going to talk about. So I guess I
did right in the opening monologue. I just said bam, 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 bam.
Shot. Like he's the shots. Yeah, but I wanted to start with historically how the beginning of the end for a great big man is, right? And right now, I think it's the beginning of the end for Joel Embiid, right? And I'm not saying that I don't respect Joel Embiid or I want anything bad to happen. What I'm saying is, historically, this is how things start for your Wilt Chamberlains. You know what I'm saying? For your Bill Waltons, for your Patrick Ewings, right? For you play. There's a stretch, but for a big man between age like 24 and 30, 31-ish, where their athletic ability outweighs their skills, right? And it's kind of like their athletic ability is here and then their skills are coming, but then they're losing the athletic ability at the same time. And then when you start throwing in injuries and mileage, then you're like, oof. Like when I watched Joel Embiid, that dunk he did on Mitch in transition, that it was like watching paint dry. I thought I was watching a giraffe race. You know what I'm saying? AD, I think it's the beginning. You remember chat? Y'all remember the song by New Edition? Is this the end? Is this the end? Are you? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And now I think. Yeah.
Ralph had I can't lie. Ralph had, and still to the most part, but young Ralph had one of the best falsettos.
Yes.
Just get up in that Michael Jackson registry.
That high alto range.
Yeah, because that's what I thought when they first got it. Frankie Lyman, that same young Stevie Wonder.
High five.
Yes. Oh man.
Thompson. Yeah.
Thompson. Oh, such a sad. And I know we about to veer, but if you ever look into that young man's story, the prodigy, a musical prodigy at like 5-6 years old from the church, and they make the group, they put him in the group, and the group break or different. It's getting fragmented and it fights, and he's only like 14, 15. They got him in the club and all of that, and someone introduces him to cocaine. Yeah. And it just a slow decline to his eventual death, Tony Thompson, and he was just, those high five records will live on, because when you hear his, especially the soft records, when you hear his the clearness, the clarity in his voice, and how it just cuts through and carries over the melody and the instrumentals. When I heard that he died, because I didn't know he died, I just happened to be watching a documentary maybe 2 years ago. When I heard that he died, I was like, oh my God. Like his story was just, but we don't want to travel too far. But with the Embiid situation, I think the relationship, the ending may be between him and Philly more than anything else.
Yeah, I think it's
because you're now gonna start, distrusting the medical advice that you're getting from the team. And we don't know if he's gotten his own medical advice. I'm sure probably in the off seasons, he's gotten his own medical advice and so forth, but his knees are not getting better.
Right. You see, that's what I was going to tell you. That was the point that I was getting at. He's at that stage in his career, the Pat Ewing stage, where it's no longer about getting 100% healthy. It's about getting healthy enough to play. Right. And when you get to that stage where it's just about getting healthy enough to play from game to game, now you're like, is this the end? And if you're Philadelphia, think about this. If you're Philadelphia, right? If you're Philadelphia, you have to start thinking, is this dude the one that's going to get us to a championship? Because you've had 8 years of this already.
Not how you're playing him now.
Right.
I mean, what happened in before has already happened. You can't go back in time and rewrite that. It's once he got hurt this year, Freezy.
Yeah.
You've already re-signed Maxey, so that's not an issue.
Right.
You have to look at the other parts of the team to say, well, okay, is it worth it? There's no way you can tell me that to come back to play with Kelly Oubre and Lowry on the end of his game,
and Nicholas Batum,
and
these guys, the journeyman dudes.
Not when every play you have to be wondering, did he do something?
Right.
To me, it's, hey, we got your wingman who's probably now, his situation is kind of like when Shaq got to Miami with a young D Wade.
Yeah.
Shaq at that time was still a better ball player technically because of what he'd already accomplished and blah, 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 blah. But D Wade was that rocket that was just about to launch, and they quickly, after that, Detroit series where it's conflicting, he wanted the ball, he get the ball, da, 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 da. When Riley comes in, they make the transition and turn it right over to Wade.
Right.
And this is kind of where Philly is at with this. But the thing where they did wrong was they should have just punted on the season at that point right there.
Yeah.
With him. Okay, hang it up. We're going to see you next year. You'd have gotten what? When did he get hurt? He got hurt in what? January?
Yeah.
Similar to when Randall got hurt.
Yeah.
Right? You'd have been able to just, have the surgery, whatever, clean up, see you in August, get you started again in August. That'll give you what? 6, 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah. Of rest and recovery.
Yeah.
And you may have been able to tack 2 more years onto his career.
Well, you'd have definitely been able to at least given him a better fighting chance going into next year, with the understanding of also that we're turning over the load now to Maxey and whomever else we're going to get to go along with you.
Right.
You see, you have to load manage the rest of his career.
Yep. And you know what else, AD? To your point, I think you make an excellent point. I want to add something else before we get too far away from it. So if you're Philly, the other thing you do is you trade away those assets that are going to expire, that are going to leave during the summer anyway. You trade away those dudes, right, for future assets that can help Embiid when Embiid returns healthy, right? All these guys, all these guys on the Oubres, the Tobias Harrises, those guys are not going to be back next season, right?
First thing I do, I get him a big. I get a good backup big.
Right. I get him a stretch 4. That's what I want to get. Joel Embiid a stretch 4, right? So that he won't have to do all the big men. You notice when Embiid is off the floor? When Embiid is off the floor, when Embiid is off the floor, it looked like, they don't have anybody 6'8" to put out there, or 6'9".
No.
Right. And Paul Reed is a nice sized power forward, but he's not a center. He's like Precious Achiuwa playing center.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's like a Precious, which is fine.
Yeah.
But he should be around. He should be in the rotation, not be that main piece behind when he goes out the game necessarily, depending on the matchups.
Right.
But they have a lot of they got a lot of decisions. Like I said, that relationship may just be over with this, because you have you start not trusting what their people are telling you.
Who's going to take on Joel Embiid's contract, though?
I think there would definitely be teams to do that. Number 1 team would be Phoenix. Watching how Minnesota, and I already said before the that Minnesota was going to take them.
Yeah.
But Phoenix and their ownership, their new ownership, he doesn't seem settled. Would they definitely do a Embiid for Durant?
You know who I think is the optimal spot? Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, they have expiring money. They have Joel Embiid money coming off their books, and they have a ton of draft picks, and they also have a ton of young players. They could probably get Cason Wallace and maybe Josh Giddey to go with Tyrese Maxey, and a ton of draft picks.
Yeah, from Philly's, point of view, they would be perfect.
That would be perfect.
Right, for Philly, absolutely.
For OKC,
Presti's never done that. He likes
never traded for a superstar.
No, he likes the young. The Paul. Yes, okay, he did when he had Westbrook.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, but he had guys. He had stars that were kind of older there to match them with. You put Embiid, with Shea. That's like almost 8-year difference.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to then manage this older dude around these young horses.
But that's why it fits AD. Because when you get Embiid, you tell JoJo, hey JoJo, listen, I know you're used to being the alpha, but here we want you fresh for the next 5 years, right? When you come here, this will be the most talented team that you've ever played on. Even when you had Jimmy Butler and JJ Redick and Ben Simmons, and this will be the most talented team you ever played on because it's a different type of talent, right? Right here, the thing with Chet is the thing with JoJo. JoJo has rarely had weak side shot blocking, right? He always had to be the deterrent at the rim. Chet Holmgren automatically helps him with some of that stuff. And then think about how hard JoJo has to work for shots in a game with the entire defense focused on him. In Oklahoma City, they're going to put 3 other dudes on the floor, and Chet, J-Dub, and SGA. Automatically, you can't ever double team Joel Embiid ever, right? And if they do double Joel Embiid, the other guys are going to eat. And if you double the other guys, SGA's an MVP candidate himself.
Well, no, that's obvious. He already won. He's already won it. I mean, that's an interesting move, but
just something to think about.
But, yeah, going back to the point, but let's dive back into yesterday's game and the guys that really, hard. Here we have a guy, and me and you went into this about last year's game 6. And them not passing him the ball, as roommates or whatever. I said it then. We'd have had to have that conversation. And coming full circle, I know it's not game 6 and it's early, but you have to have trust in the guys on the floor.
I think you're going to give you a high five reference. No. You have to have trust in people, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Unconditional love. The new edition, the high five conversation never ends.
You're out of control, but with the heart, again, moments matters.
Moments,
and he hits big 3 after 3 after 3. Next man up. And he steps up yet again. What he had yesterday, 13 rebounds.
Yeah, man, he balled out yesterday, bro.
Tough. It was tough. 6'4", Freezy. Remember when we used to just look at Eddie Curry and like, dude, you can't get more than 6 rebounds,
bro. How about, bro? You can't just jump. Eddie Curry, you can't legit just put your hands in the air.
Like, it's hard for me to imagine myself at that size with all that gift and grace.
At 6'11", 300 pounds.
And I'm letting 6'3", 6'4" guys out rebound me.
Over my back. Climbing over my back. Oh my God!
As you say that, it's just the flashbacks of that Friday night game against the Nets when rest in peace Cliff Robinson comes. Eddie Curry was having a great game for Eddie Curry, right? Mm-hmm. I think he had like 25 and like 6. Isaiah pulls him out the game with like 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes to go. Okay. Kind of like, all right, you got us here. What are we going to protect the boards kind of, strategy?
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, he puts him back in the game.
Right.
Cliff Robinson comes over the back of Eddie Curry and David Lee, bangs it on both of them. In the process, gives David Lee a black eye to take home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Cliff Robinson was ever more than 215, 220 pounds.
Ever.
And you're Eddie Curry, you're like 300 pounds before lunch. So to Hart, you can't measure what he has in his chest to make him want to just battle amongst those bigs. Scrap for every loose ball. Go amongst the trees and get knocked down and get back up. He's like that toy that the 7-year-old has and just keeps throwing it on the floor to see if the head is gonna pop off.
Right.
Tough,
man.
Tough, and that's what you need. You need those Bowens.
Your Steven Jackson.
Your Steven Jackson. What was my guy with Miami from Duke?
Shane Battier.
The Battiers, who was what was Battier? number 4 pick in the draft, and somehow, some way, he just kind of found the niche to be a
great defender, bro.
Role player. He was the one that came up with that thing about putting your hands like into the offensive player's like face like this without touching him.
Yeah.
You need guys like that. That's how you win.
Tom Thibodeau just sent me a package, bro. That's
what he sent you a copy of the contract details, because remember, that new contract is already signed.
Yeah, man.
Sealed.
Yeah, man. Are you really trying to walk me down this road of is Barry White better than Stevie Wonder? Because I heard you say signed, sealed. Are you also going to ask me if I'm superstitious?
I would never say that. I would never say that. But I have a personal attachment to the maestro.
Yeah. Because he used to host a radio show on Kiss.
He just has his style of R&B records back then. And remember, we little kids.
Yeah.
But I remember Barnes and Nobles, me and my college friend.
Wow, Barnes and Nobles. Wow.
Me and my college friend goes in looking for some book or whatever, and they had a section where you could play the CDs.
Yeah.
And they had Barry White, the best of Barry White, already queued up, Freezy, with the headphones right there.
Oh my goodness.
She don't even remember when I left her. Right? I'm like 3-4 records deep. And I didn't even realize I was singing. Because I can't hear myself.
Can't get enough of you, love, baby.
She comes running over to me, hits me in my back, and like, Anthony, the whole damn Barnes and Nobles can hear you.
Right.
But Barry just, he appealed because at the end of the day, for me, it was about, getting, with the ladies. And that was all his music was about. Yeah, that was all his music was about. Yeah, playing your game. That heavy drop.
That beat is so funky.
And he goes into this detail of, what she wants, what she needs.
Yeah.
When you give it up, it's only enough to get me by. Barry's he is, oh my God, never gonna.
Yeah. Barry was that dude. He definitely top 100 from the 70s, bro.
No, God, he's like top 3.
No, come on, Andy.
As far as just the solo artist, no.
I think we getting caught up in the moment, bro.
That Love Unlimited album is Freezy. It's meant for riding. I'm saying it's meant for the car. It's meant to collect your thoughts, your strategy, like how you about to go about this.
It's meant for you to ride through the city. I know, I get it.
It's, oh my God, Barry, top 100. Come on, Freezy, come on. You've said some blasphemous things on these airwaves, but that right there might be like the worst thing you've ever said, yo. Barry White was just dominant in the 70s.
I'm not being disrespectful to Barry White.
He was just Dominant, Freezy. Dominant.
Yeah.
In the age of disco, think about that.
Right.
Ecstasy and all these records are coming out when disco is murdering everything.
Everything moving.
Right? Disco is murdering everything. You hear a little bit of it of disco in his album or whatever, but not his major records that was just like punch you in the face records. So for you to be able to survive that, to survive the disco tsunami,
right?
Top 100? No, I beg to differ.
Yeah. Bro, do you know how many artists came out in the 70s, bro?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not being disrespectful to him. What I'm saying is you know, top 100 is to me is a kudos.
No, but he's the cream of the crop.
He is not the cream of the crop.
He's the cream of the crop. And I wish I would go look over the stats and his chart positionings at that time. He's at the top of the food chain in the 70s.
You know Michael Jackson released albums in the 70s also, right?
Yes, absolutely. He's at the top of the food chain.
You know Stevie Wonder released albums in the 70s, right?
Absolutely. He's at the top of the food chain.
Anybody ever heard of Donny Hathaway?
Freezy, you're talking about the talented 10th. You're talking about the talented 10th, Freezy.
Right. You said top 3. I said that man is definitely in the top 100.
No, he's like top 7 then. He's not top,
right.
You know, if there's 100, he's in the first 7 or the first 5.
Oh. Okay.
Easily. Okay. And that's no disrespect to, you know, groups and solo artists that was, you know, penetrating at that time. Like I said, his music is penetrating, you know, during a time when disco is killing everything moving.
I understand, bro. I understand, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the GOAT. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him, right? What I'm saying is, or one of the GOATs. What I'm saying is that era of music had a lot of people in it, bro. It's like talking about 80s hip hop, right? You can't just say one guy is the greatest in the golden era of hip hop, right? It's just because it's disrespectful to everybody. As soon as you start talking about Big Daddy Kane, everybody else is offended.
Music for me, Freezy, really and truly, once I'm into it and I'm into like different artists or whatever, I like a mix. You know, that's why salute to, you know, rest in peace to, you know, Mr. C.
Right.
I like a DJ that can mix the record and get me to the next record or whatever. But at some point in time, I'm gonna gravitate to one group or individual because their music is gonna tap into me a little bit more than everybody else's outside of the mix.
Okay.
Like when you get into the album cuts, I used to like call up the songs, you know, unmentionables that people forget about.
Right.
You know, that got
like Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah, like those things on the album that like, oh wow, that was on that album? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I would go to, you know, the Barry Whites because I already know what I'm gonna get.
Right.
And I could play his music on repeat over and over and over again and not be tired of it. So
you can't get enough of his love. Yeah, I got you.
You know, those was just, you know, that's just my style of music, man. That cruising music, you know.
And I'm just saying, yo, I'm not being disrespectful to Barry White.
Right? You already were, but it's all right. It's all right. We cleaned it up. It's all right. You know, we forgive you.
I can't be.
Show you right.
Show you right.
Dude, you hear him on Secret Garden?
Yeah.
I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
That's what a man's supposed to do. Yeah. What? Stop playing with Barry, yo. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, man. No, I don't want to be disrespectful to Barry White, but I'm just saying, man, can we just give respect to everybody instead of just one? You know what I'm saying? Salute to Rel, man. From We Talk Mavs TV, man, or We Talk Mavs. I don't know why I keep saying We Talk Mavs TV. We talk Mavs. Salute to Rel and everybody. You know what I'm saying?
He's putting your ambitions out there, Rel. You're gonna take it to TV, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna do TV eventually. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. But nah, man. My thing is though with Barry White and I guess it's the Joel Embiid conversation that we're having. We're having an undercover Joel Embiid conversation. Is probably right now, right? My thing is with Joel Embiid, man, is every dog has their day, right? And the day, oftentimes the day is over sooner than what you think, right? Everybody has a little spot under the sun, right? And where did I hear that from before? Everybody. Oh, Parliament, yeah. And so it's a thing. When that's the case, you have to take advantage of it. You know, you have to take advantage of that moment. And I think Joel Embiid, with all the injuries, I think it's starting to be the end of an era. Like, I'm not writing his eulogy, right? I think he's got 3 more good years left at this level.
JoJo was a good man.
Yeah. JoJo owed me $20.
He owed me $20. He was a good man. JoJo.
Yeah, man.
But that's, like you said earlier, that's Philly's thing. You know, Philly has to make that decision. Philly historically has always made they've always treated their stars somehow, some way. It ends ugly in Philly.
Always.
It ended ugly with Barkley. Yep. It ended ugly with Iverson. It ended ugly. Well, Doc retired, so it didn't end ugly with Doc. But you know,
how about with Wilt? Can we start with Wilt first? It ended ugly with Wilt.
Well, Wilt was what, 26, 27?
26, bro. They ended it over money. They ended theirs over money, bro. You have to realize, you have to understand.
It's always the money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, so they've when it comes with their stars, it ended bad with Andrew Toney.
Yep. Hal Greer. People forget that Philly had Hal Greer. I don't. Chat. Anybody? Does anybody in here remember one of the first Philly megastars, Hal Greer? Right. He played with Wilt. He was what we call a scoring machine, bro. Hal Greer was a scoring guard, but he was legit what we call a bucket. Right. Guys like that. Guys like Hal Greer don't get the credit that they deserve because there are so many buckets over the years. But guys like Hal Greer, bro, we got to start giving him his flowers, bro. For being Dave Bing, another great scoring guard. But ultimately, what I'm saying about the Joel Embiid and this Philadelphia series is this: Joel Embiid, the likelihood of him making it through this series is unlikely, and we'll probably be talking, AD and I, in about 10 to 15 years, we'll be talking about how another great Knicks team put an end to an era. You know what I'm saying? I think the Joel Embiid era may be at that thing where they look to transition, right? They just look to transition and move on. And no disrespect to any of the participants, because we know getting quality NBA talent is a hard thing to do. Right? We know it's a hard thing to do. The Knicks have been searching for talent for years. It's not like the Dallas Mavericks who get all the talent and don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at AD, I say this a lot to like my friends when I talk about NBA basketball, bro. Like, what legit fan base or franchise has wasted more talent than the Dallas Mavericks? Their first overall pick, the first pick they ever made was Mark Aguirre.
The Clippers.
The Clippers?
Yeah. Yeah. The Clippers.
Oh, I never thought about that, bro.
The Clippers. Absolutely. By far. In my memory, by far. As I'm thinking about it now, I'm rolling through the Mannings, the
Danny Manning, the Danny Mannings, the Danny
Charles,
Ferries.
Ferries, not that Ferries was any good, but the thing is,
but he was an asset though.
He was an asset. See, that's the thing. Somebody outside the organization may view him one way, but to the team has to view him as in he is the greatest thing since the invention of the telephone.
Since such and such, yeah.
Yeah, because if not, how are you going to get good value for him? Case in point, back to KP.
Right.
When until you get him in your building and you seeing what he's all about and who he's with and things like that, you don't really know him. But once that is such, and you see, well, no, this guy can't play. All right.
Yeah.
How are we gonna disguise this?
Right. Yeah.
And that's every year. General managers make that, somehow, some way they got faulty information, and they thought, well, okay, this kid looks great in shorts. He's great on his 3-on-3.
The underwear Olympics.
And before the year is out, you already done made the call. And especially if you change management or if you change coaches.
Yeah.
Because another coach is going to be like, this is not what I need to win.
Yeah.
While another coach might say, well, yeah, but to make that transition, it just doesn't work overnight. You understand what I'm saying? Like, look how long we knew Kevin Knox could not play for a very long time.
We knew that day one. Like day one, this dude is suspect.
And how long did it take the Knicks to move on from him?
A long time.
A long time. The man built up a hive during that time of people who really thought he could play.
Right. Right. So DSJ says, I can't wait to have another Vibes and Stuff episode so we can discuss the overreaction of some artists. Oh wow.
The overreaction of which artist, DSJ? Like, call out a name. Right?
Yeah, I think he okay.
Don't just be so
shade. Don't
don't just be so blankety.
Yeah.
There was a word. You know what I'm saying? But back to the point, it's again, Freezy, it's like, it takes the organization and the people that they trust within the organization to make some of the every organization is going to make a bad move here and there.
Yeah. It's part of it. It's the law of large numbers.
Yeah, it's just what it is. But you have to try and make less of those mistakes.
Yeah.
And when you make the mistake, you better have a plan to move on from that mistake.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? The Knicks didn't see anything in these last two drafts worth to pick anything. I beg to differ, right? But can you argue with the logic today? Where would one of these guys play today?
Yeah. Yeah.
If Precious Achiuwa is barely gonna get spotted minutes in these playoffs, where would a young guy, a young first round pick would play on this team? Wouldn't.
And I understand. I understand where you're coming from, bro. So DSJ he said that. Okay, I like how AD avoided naming the other two artists. Clearly, he didn't mention
overreaction.
He didn't mention Curtis Mayfield.
Dominant as well.
Right.
No.
Right. He mentioned Michael Jackson. So I mean, so
and not even get to the ladies yet.
Teddy
Right?
Pendergrass.
But Barry, like I said, I don't know if you caught the entire conversation, DSJ. For me,
Yeah.
may not be for you. I don't know if you cruising, if you like them cruising style records, but like how many times has Barry White records been sampled in hip hop?
A lot.
Black Moon gets their first bomb
from Barry White.
We got you open.
Yeah.
Right? And they basically sampled the entire record.
Right. Basically. Smokey Robinson. Oh.
Smokey wasn't big in the 70s. Smokey was already just in Motown, refixing his curl. Smokey wasn't big in the 70s. Smokey wasn't big in the 70s like that. Yeah. I mean, he's still active. He would be in that 100 or whatever, but
Eddie Kendricks has some songs, but he's not Barry White. Barry White was major.
Eddie Kendricks got some records as well. David Ruffin has some records in the 70s, but he's not Barry White in the 70s.
Yeah. Intimate Friends is still the dopest beat from the 70s. One of the dopest songs that you ever hear. Intimate Friend. When you hear Intimate Friends, you're like, yo, this was the 70s. Yeah.
And then to add on that whole Philly movement.
The whole sound of Philadelphia.
Sound of Philadelphia.
And don't forget the ladies. Don't forget the ladies, man. Don't forget Aretha and
Hinton.
Yeah. Don't forget the ladies, man. So yeah, salute to Chief in the building. Salute. So we did. So Chief and IKBM Dre, aka Josh Hart, had a show Friday. It was fire.
Yeah, I know that man is sitting there going, I was so wrong, but I'm so happy that he's here. I was so wrong to put out that energy in the air, with some of those things. And it's not that BMJ doesn't have points and stuff when it comes to his game over a long period of time being on the floor, right? Yeah. But the thing where it contrasts or he doesn't value is that even if he missed a shot or two here or there, is that he's going to find this way to be around the ball. There's going to be a tip. There's going to be a loose ball, something. And he's going to, are you going to, if there was a total pileup and you couldn't see one player from another, would you be surprised that at the very bottom of that pileup is Josh Hart?
Right. It's like watching Troy Polamalu. You remember that guy?
Yes.
With the long
yes.
You're like, what is Troy doing?
What is he doing?
Yeah, and then at the end of the game, you're like, oh, he got 2 interceptions, a sack, and a fumble recovery, fumble return, take it to the house to win the game.
From the safety position. And a lot of those things was just instincts, right? Because he was superior athletically gifted on that football team field amongst other athletically gifted football players.
Right.
And some of the reckless things you would see that man do, and you'd be like, oh, but all right, Steelers ball.
Yep.
You gotta have those kind of kamikaze guys.
Yeah.
Those guys that are just willing just to go all the way. It's not gonna look the same in the stat sheets.
No,
it's not gonna equate in the mind's eye as far as, do you pay this guy $100 million? How could you give him that much money? Because that was the talk. Right. How could you give him this much money?
Hey, do you know what he's making right now, though? That man's making 12.8 right now. Is Josh Hart worth $12.8 million right now?
Laughable.
It's laughable, bro. And now next year, when he starts making in that 20 million something range, whatever, we can have a separate conversation. Because I was on that conversation too. Like, man, you gave that man $90 million. What does he do? And he just proved it to us. He just proved it to us that he deserved that money.
The pieces have to fit, Freezy. And sometimes you're gonna pay a little extra. You're gonna go out your way a little further to get, better quality groceries.
Yeah.
You're not gonna just take, because what? It's gonna make your macaroni, that cheese that you love is gonna make your macaroni and cheese that much better than you settling for whatever.
Right. You got to get the right cheeses. You got to get some cheese with some flavor to it.
Yeah, it has to fit amongst what? Amongst the star pieces of the cuisine for the meal. And who is that? That's Brunson. Him, Dante, Mitch, all of these, iHeart, these are his guys, or these are the guys that he fits, that you can clearly see that they have camaraderie.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It may not equate in the money and what you're paying out, but that's just how today's game goes.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's just how today's game. We no longer are the days, Freezy, that we would fall in love with a guy that got an 8, 9, 10-year contract.
Yeah. Bro.
Baseball is the only thing that's doing that.
Yeah. And then two, usually when we give cats bread, basically when we gave cats bread, we knew we were going to get like a half a season and then 4.5 seasons of where can we trade this guy, right? But the fact that Josh Hart came here, earned his extension, and then got numerous triple doubles after he signed the contract, bro, I think the Josh Hart conversation is over. We got to dead it. In fairness to reasonable minds, you got to dead the Josh Hart conversation, bro. Josh Hart is worth the money.
You gotta have guys like that. You just do.
Yeah.
You can look at every team that's won the championship, and you're gonna find some similar player or players that come to play that's willing to, expand his game.
AD, what if Philly had Josh Hart last night?
They win.
They win.
Going away. They win.
Right. Yeah. So is $12.5 million worth of playoff win? Absolutely. Because the journey matters to get here. Like we said last week, of course the regular season matters, no doubt. Right.
But now it's the second half of the season.
Yes, sir.
It's the part that really counts, and the guys that you think that can eventually, and it's not just him, because we can look at Tibbs' coaching yesterday. Did you have a problem? My only problem with Tibbs yesterday was I would have kept Boyan on the floor a little longer.
Right. Okay.
Because I came into the playoffs with that mindset that they're going to need a lot from Boyan.
I mean, how long? The man played 28 minutes. He was used to playing 14.
Yeah, but I thought that, or maybe it's in some of the positions, or in some of the quarters where
maybe having him take on more responsibility.
No. They was like, I think it was in, I don't want to mistake myself. I think it was like in the first quarter when it was kind of getting away from them.
Right.
And I was like, all right, we could use to bring in Boyan earlier, to kind of help to offensively start to resettle things. Because at no point in time did I think they should take Brunson out of the game because he was having a bad game, and early in that
he
first
had a
half.
bad shooting night. He had a bad shooting night for sure because he assisted the ball and he got a lot of rebounds. His defense was okay.
His recognition of the trap early, Freezy, was the problem.
Yeah.
He was kind of running into it and kind of like, all right, if I get between these two guys, I could then see where my guys are moving.
Right.
And it wasn't working. And it's like you needed to slow down a bit. Even some of the shots he took was like
right,
reaching for his
He is in love with the Coco, bro. That dude loves to shoot the basketball, bro. Jalen Brunson, if you're watching, you're in love with the Coco.
As he should be. He's good at it.
Yeah, he's good at it. Yeah, he in love with the Coco, bro.
He's good at it. And he rebounded in the second half.
Yeah, he did. He was good.
He had 22, 24, something like that.
Yeah, he was good in other areas. The shooting wasn't there so much, but things are. AD, that's all I got, man. I gotta get out of here because there's a ton of stuff that I gotta do today. I got a contract that should be here about 1:00, man, to fix some mistakes that I made on this side porch, even on a Sunday.
Before we go, free Devin Haney.
Yeah, Devin Haney, we watching you. Devin Haney, maybe you should get a job.
You can be a truck driver. We need more forklift operators.
Yeah, Devin Haney, Earl Spence about to call you in a few minutes.
Oh my God. Maybe we can match you and Earl. And that's no disrespect. You know me, I love the boxing game, but people were really thinking that Garcia had no chance.
I like Garcia, bro. I love Garcia.
I'm like, one loss doesn't mean you're crap in boxing. And that was the thing. It's like you get a loss and they're ready to shelf you in today's game.
Right.
Which makes no sense. But anyway, Freezy, I got to go as well. But thank you all for joining us again. We don't know where this journey started, but we know where it ended with you all. Salute to Knick Nation. Again, let's go Knicks. See you tomorrow. Garvey.
Let's go Knicks. Peace, everybody.
Yeah. Look out your window. Knicks fans is on your block. Y'all know the Knicks run the city. Pull them shades back. Look out your window. Look down there on the block. That's Knicks fans right there.